I just don't know what my problem is. I wish I could figure it out. I don't drink, I don't smoke, just overthink and stress so much. This anxiety needs to go. Please help. Bear with me through this video. I just got 4 wisdom teeth removed, and I'm not supposed to be doing a lot of talking, but I just took my medication. So before we start, welcome to my channel where I peacefully fuck up your illusion and where the truth only hurts when you live a lie. Suppression leads to depression. I don't care if the trauma is forgotten. So a lot of us walk around with panic attacks and anxieties, and we don't even remember where it could stem from. Seeing other people with anxieties and things, but they know the root of it, they be like, okay, well, at least they can know where it stemmed from. It's almost like, damn, I don't even know where to attack it because I don't even know where it comes from. Got me overthinking and shit. But that's what you call repression. For edification of the video, repression is a defense mechanism that actually blocks traumatic memories or traumatic events. But you could be suffering from a traumatic event or an experience that you've forgotten about. Not trying to get too scientific, but if I'm correct, the memory is stored in the hippocampus of our brains. So even though traumatic memories are blocked, if we didn't heal from it, we could still be suffering from it. That's when the amygdala, that little almond-shaped structure in your brain, the amygdala sends a signal to the nervous system that gives you that fight or flight. You don't know why you're scared of mice. You don't know why you're scared of snakes. You don't know why you have abandonment issues. You don't know why you have codependency problems. But the traumatic experience could have been so traumatic to you that the memory used the repression to block the memory, but you didn't have time to heal from it, so you still suffer from it. Can we still suffer something when we were just simply infants that repression blocks out? Yes, it's possible to repress memories of a childhood trauma even if the trauma occurred when you were a baby. This is a defense mechanism that protects the brain from reliving the pain. Even if you don't remember that trauma precisely, you could still be affected from it. Exhaustion, attachment issues, difficulty coping with stress, trauma, anxiety, etc., etc. You might have been a kid that had to go to a daycare. Something as simple as you leaving a kid at the daycare could be so traumatic for them. Everybody's trauma and how it affects them is different. Something that happened to them at 3 years old, and yes, even explain why they have abandonment issues. I understand that moms and dad had to go to work. They didn't see that. They only saw you left me. Yes, it is possible to still carry that to adulthood. Loud noises might trigger an emotional response. Could have grew up in a house where everybody yelled at each other. Everything was loud and obnoxious. And now that's one of your triggers. You might not have a precise memory of these things, but you still hold on to them in certain types of ways, even though you don't really remember it. My solution would be is when you have these anxieties, sit with it. What I mean sit with it is don't try to run because it's the fight or flight. I don't want you to flight. I want you to fight this time and actually see what is triggering you because they all have a source. I'll be a little vulnerable. Grandfather transitioned in 2016. I didn't properly mourn his death. I had death anxiety. I was having a good time and it was so traumatic where that call just caught me off guard. After then, I would get phone calls at weird times and I would automatically assume the worst. My mama would call me at an unusual time and I'd be like, Mama, I don't want to hear it. Tell me tomorrow. She'd be like, No, son, I just need you to do X, Y, and Z. Literally carrying that trauma with me around for years until I just had to really just heal from that shit. Those aren't your demons. Those are your angels waiting for you to overcome. Every time you have an anxiety attack, sit down and write down your thoughts. Then, next to those thoughts, write down the absurdity of it all. If you have death anxiety, ask yourself next to that, how many times have I had this thought over and over again and it brought me back here and I made it past this? Use psychology, the 7 modern perspective. If it's behavioral or cognitive, if it's social cultural, is it evolutionary? Really learn yourself. Seriously, we live in a world where we're trying to get to know somebody else and really tuned into other people that we really don't even know ourselves. Many times have you heard, if I was in this situation, I wouldn't do this, and then you got in that situation and you did exactly what you didn't think you would do because you don't really know you. Learn your triggers. The behavior, you might be reacting to the fear of a negative response. Maybe it's something cognitive, like you're too self-conscious about a situation. Maybe something dealing with psychodynamics. Believe that something deep in your subconscious is controlling your thoughts. One thing I can tell you for sure, anxieties is like the bully at the schoolyard, and that amygdala gonna continue to send signals to that nervous system. Best chance you have against a bully is standing up to it. A way of fighting this bully call anxiety is to sit down, write down your thoughts, examine it, and actually, right next to it, write down the absurdity of it all. Understand your triggers, understand your biases. Understand there's a lot of things you have right in this world, but there's a lot of things you have wrong in this world. Negatives you feel about yourself could be dead wrong. Giving you the tools, but this is the time to be your own rescue for those who need it.